Okay, it's Sunday, which means against my better judgment, it's time to go to Reddit and see what we can find in this hive of scum and villainy. So I've been to the Overwatch University subreddit ahead of time and just scraped all the questions off the first couple pages, and we're going to answer them now. Some footage of Grand Blue Fantasy Versus plays in the background. And if you're wondering which side I'm on, it's the side that's got my name on it. So, first off is, what heroes are best to nano boost with Ana? So, Genji's the obvious one when he's ulting, because, ooh, Nano Blade's pretty strong. That one feels real nice. To be honest, there are not that many DPS that are actually good to nano boost, really. Because what you're looking for when you're nano boosting someone who is someone who is going to pretty easily do... Hold on, watch this. Yeah. Who is pretty easily gonna do a lot of damage, right? Which is Genji, you know. So you can't exactly depend on somebody like Ashe or McCree to do a lot of damage. So it is usually better if you don't have like an obvious ultimate to pair it with like Dragon Blade. Then the best thing to do is usually just nano boost the tank, which also has the benefit of healing the tank when he's done something stupid and making him less likely to die after that fact when he continues doing the stupid thing. Also, because you know they're gonna. You know they will. You know how the tank player is. So, someone like Zarya is not necessarily good still, because you can't necessarily depend on a Zarya either. But like someone like Winston, Reinhardt, Roadhog, D.Va, they are all able to do damage pretty consistently, so they tend to be good picks. Oh god, excuse me. If you have faith in the Zarya, then by all means, do the Zarya. But there's a bit more risk inherent with that one. Roadhog also has a good ultimate to combo with Nano Boost. Unfortunately, sometimes he gets a little bit crowd controlled, and then you're sad because you lost 2 ults for the price of 1 right there. But I mean, the same thing can happen to Genji, it's just way less likely. Someone like Junkrat, Pharah are also pretty safe bets. They tend to do damage pretty consistently. They aren't like the most skillful heroes. Barrage is also okay to combo with Nano Boost, because as we know, Pharah quite prone to dying when she uses Barrage. Harder to do that if you're Nano Boosted, but still susceptible to crowd control, so there's that issue still, you know. But basically, like, combo with an ultimate, like Dragon Blade, or just nano boost the tank if they seem like they're in a good position to do damage. Like, Reinhardt just earth-shattered a bunch of people. You know, Winston's jumping into their backline. Hammond's about to pile drive onto their backline, you know. D.Va's in there harassing their backline. If they're in, like, a good position like that, you know, don't just, like, nano boost the Reinhardt randomly when he's like a mile away holding his shield up. You know, wait for them to be in position to do something with it, but they're pretty much the best ones to do it with. Yeah, there you go. You'll usually do tanks. So, next up, is it worth turning off voice and text chat? Will this do more harm than good? I fully encourage everybody. Yo, dog, just, like, try it for, like, a week, you know? Just, like, turn text and voice chat off for, like, a week, and just, like, your life will be greatly enriched for that experience, right? You'll, oh, why was I ever talking to these fools to begin with? Life is so much better now. My crops, they're watered, the sun, it shines a little bit brighter. It's all so much better now that I haven't had to interact with the fucking Overwatch community any more than I absolutely had to. So, the thing is, so unless you're in, like, really high SR, you are unlikely to gain anything from the voice chat. You'll almost never gain anything from text chat, for the record. People do not use text chat to communicate information. People use text chat to shit talk, right? Like, no coordination actually happens in the text chat, so that one's completely free. Coordination doesn't happen down there. Voice chat, communication, like everything else, is a skill. So, unless you're in really high SR, people they're not gonna have that skill, dog. You're gonna hear a lot of people just, like, yelling X is 1 when you're not in any position to actually do anything to X anyway, or just, like, people making frustrated noises, you know? Someone getting a little bit too close to their micro, you know, one of them. Like, that's all you're getting out of the voice chat, 9 times out of 10, unless you're in high SR. Because then people actually have the skill to communicate effectively. That's a skill like anything else. And people in low SR, they don't have that skill. So you're gonna lose very little from not being in voice chat, you know? And text chat, that's completely free. Absolutely nothing will be lost from you turning that one off. Just try it. Just give it like a week. Just, you know, do me a personal favor. Just, like, turn them both off for, like, a week and tell me you didn't drastically, that didn't drastically improve your experience playing Overwatch. It probably will. It probably will. Just give it a try. Give it a try. So, next up. What are good tanks to pick up for most comps? So, Rein is good. He fits into pretty much every team comp except Dive, basically. Like, you know, he's not necessarily, like, ideal for a bunker, but, like, it's still fine. You know, you can play him in most any situation. He very much fits into a lot of positions. And for the main tank, Reinhardt's very good. And then, like, for the off tank, the one you get the most mileage out of is Zarya. So if she also fits into most comps, including dive comps, but she's an off tank, so you'll probably get less chances to play that one. You're probably playing main tank more often. People don't like playing main tank very much. So, you know, if you're only gonna pick 2, do Rein and Zarya. You'll get the most mileage out of them. But then, it's also gonna be good to include, like, Winston in there. Because then or D.Va, because then you can fit those on dive comps as well if you end up running that. D.Va also ends up being good as a counter pick in a few situations, so D.Va's another good one to know. But, you know, if you're just looking for, like, main tank, off tank that are going to get you the most mileage, it's going to be Rein and Zarya. But consider adding, like, D.Va in, if nothing else, because you can play D.Va as the counter pick, and she fits on dive comps, you know? And then, assuming we can go to 4, then also include, like, Winston or Hammond, so you can do the main tank in the dive comp as well. Not that you usually end up playing a dive comp, but sometimes you're gonna end up having to do that with, like, the hero bans. They've done a couple hero bans now that have, like, strongly encouraged playing a dive comp, if nothing else, so you might have to do it. But Rein, Zarya, they'll get you the most mileage, and include Winston, D.Va, depending on how many you want to do. So, there you go. We're moving through a lot of questions fast so far, aren't we? Very concerning. So, next up is what to do as a main tank against spam/high damage. So, basically, like, avoid line of sight as much as possible is, like, one of the best things to do, because, yo, dog, they can't do damage to you if they can't see you, right? Because if you're playing Rein, this is gonna be the one where you're having the issue with, because if you're playing, like, Winston or Winston Hammond as main tank, you're not really worrying about it so much, because you're kind of just jumping straight on these people, right? It's usually, like, Rein and Orisa that have to worry about this more, because they have to, like, physically walk up to the people using shields, right? So, you basically try and avoid line of sight as much as you can, and you try and break off, and if you need to, you, like, fully stop pushing, so that you can stop and, like, regenerate your shield, which you'll need to if you're pushing through, like, a hefty amount of spam. A good example is Eichenwald Point 1, where you march through the bridge at the start, and then after that, your shield is pretty low, but what the enemy team often does is break off and go back around to the point. So you can then just use the building in the center to break line of sight, let your shield regenerate, let your cooldowns come back up, and then push in after that once you've regenerated a little bit. You know, and there's points like you can do this on like most maps. Like if you're on like King's Row, you do the same thing with the statue once you've gone through the choke point, you know. If you're on like Hanamura, you break right once you go through the doorway, and then you can hang out in that building for a little bit to regenerate, and then you march on to the point through there. You do that kind of thing. You avoid just like being in their line of sight taking damage as much as you can. It helps if you have Lucio on your team as well, because then you get to spend even less time in line of sight of the enemy team, because Lucio gets to just boost you straight through. They can't damage you if they can't hit you because you're too fast. Think about it. It's easy. And that's about the best you can do. Don't be afraid to, like, face tank some damage if you really have to when you're pushing in, because, like, your healers can heal chip damage off of you, no problem. They can't regenerate your shield for you, though. So if you're only going to take like a little bit of poke damage moving in, it's not the end of the world, dog. Especially if it's the beginning of the round. You can, you know, your healers will get a nice little boost off of healing you right at the start if you're taking some chip damage as the tank. And then you end up having more shields, basically. Like, the goal, like, you get into this when you're playing Reinhardt to begin with, where you think the goal is to have your shield up as much as possible. But as you play more and more, what you actually learn is the goal is to have your shield up as little as possible. Because if you have your shield up a lot, it's just taking a lot of damage that it probably didn't need to take. And then once you actually, if your shield takes all the damage getting to the fight, you can't fight very efficiently anymore. Like, you need shield to actually fight once you get there. Because the loop when you're playing Rein is that you walk straight up to the bad men, essentially. And then you start just slapping them with your hammer. And then once you start getting like a little bit spooked, because you're like half health or something, you hold your shield up. And then you wait, you're a little bit healthier. Hooray, fantastic, now I start swinging again, you know? That's basically how it goes when you're playing Reinhardt. So if your shield is just taking all the damage marching up to them, you don't get to do that. You get to go in, swing at them like a couple times. Your shield's like 200 health. You hold up for half a second, it's broken, then your team gets earth shattered. And you're all around just very sad. It didn't really go very well. So, you know, it got a little bit rambling. That'll tie into another question later, to be honest with you. Should have sort of saved off on some of that, but, you know, I'm not one for forethought very much as a person. I just, you know, or salient, coherent thoughts either to begin with, to be honest with you. That's why I'm playing Luane. Oh, you don't have to think too much with this boy, really. Alright, low health. Summon Yiggy. This is Yggdrasil. And then, yo dog, you start just spamming the unblockable fire at them. Look at that. They don't know what to do. They're panicking. They can't kill you because you've summoned the fucking Tree of Life to save you. And you just clap them. Easy peasy. Anyway, so, that's what you do. And if you're, like, really having trouble, like, navigating the spam, just change to dive. Then you don't have to really deal with it because you're just there. You're just on them, right? You get to circumnavigate that whole poke phase at the beginning, which is when the spam high damage comps are usually happiest before you actually get to them, right? But if I'm just at them, dog, no big deal. It's fucking cut out part of the issue. So, next up is Tracer very weak and competitive? Well, it kind of depends on how good you are at Tracer, doesn't it? I confess, this is one of those questions that I included just because I felt a little spiteful to the person that posted it. Because I look in the thread, and, you know, what do I see? I see the guy saying, one of two things happens. I go in, I get a pick, or I die. And if I get the pick, my team doesn't do anything with it. And, you know, I just think to myself, alright, so you get a pick or you die. You can say that about almost every DPS, to be honest with you. You either get the pick or you die, you know? Like, that's kind of how it goes. And I have increasingly little patience for this thing that people say when they play flankers, where they go, even if I get the pick, my team doesn't do anything with it. Because 9 times out of 10, they got the pick while their team was not in a position to actually do anything because they were dead like 2 people, or Genji was using Dragon Blade on their teammates or something like that. Because usually if you got 2 picks, usually your team does something. Not always, you know, it's definitely gonna happen if you got tank players that are true, like, alpha pussies, you know, then there's gonna be times. But if you're getting, like, multiple picks consistently, and nothing's coming of any of them, it's probably time to consider why that's happening a little bit, outside of just, my teammates are bad. Yeah, that can be true, but it's not always true, is it? You know, let's be real, it's not always true. You're probably getting picks at bad times, you know. Just the generic advice, right? Like, don't look at what other people are doing, look at what you're doing, because you can't control the 5 other people you're playing at, and the only consistent factor in all of your games is gonna be you. So spend your time worrying about you, instead of, like, all the other bumblefucks that you can't control. There's probably something you could have done to increase your chances of winning, you know? Maybe don't be such a salty little bitch about it, you know? Maybe it's not always other people's fault. As scary as a thought as that might be, because that means if it's not always someone else's fault, that means it's my fault. I don't like that very much. Sorry, I was just watching that because I had a very visceral memory of that one happening to me, and I didn't like seeing it again. Alright, now we play Yggdrasil at him. Yeah, put him in the lightning. Alright, he almost dodged it all. But he didn't dodge it all, so he gets fucked. Oh, it's so... Dude, it's so much easier playing Luane than any of the other people you've seen me play so far. Because, dude, Yggdrasil is so good. People just panic the second you summon Yggdrasil. And you only gotta catch him, like, twice. And that's it, you probably did it. And once they get hit by that that unblockable lava once, they keep getting hit by it. They're like, surely he wouldn't do the lava 5 times in a row. Oh, you don't understand. Wow. I'm guessing this game had a lot of lag in it, because, boy, that's moving in slow motion, isn't it? Let's not continue with that one. I'm guessing that happens if the game was laggy, the replay ends up being laggy. Let's go on to the next person. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, don't be such a salty little bitch, is the moral of the story. There you go. Next up, how to engage a team fight as Reinhardt. I kind of already did a lot of this when we were talking about the avoiding spam, because the goal is to, like, maintain your shield as much as possible, and then when you get to them, you start slapping, you hold your shield up, you know. A lot of the issue with engaging as Reinhardt is that, like, if you arrive and you don't have any shield to work with once you get there, you're fucked. Your engage ends up being extremely flaccid, to put it as diplomatically as possible, right? Your team, your healers are gonna end up having to heal you a fucking lot. You can't block any ultimates that are coming in. It's all in all very sad. So you need to have a lot of shield to be in the privileged position to actually start swinging at them. It's a little counterintuitive like that, I know. It seems weird that you need more shield to be able to swing. But that's how it is, dog. If you ain't got no shield, you can't be swinging, because you're just gonna get slapped as soon as you start. And then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna be sad. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna be low health. You're gonna have to disengage mad early. And your healers are gonna be salty little bitches because you're taking a bunch of damage that you didn't need to be, because you got there with no shield. And then you can't block the earth shatter, and oh god, oh no, then they're turning the engage back round on me, and I'm upset. Oh, it all turns so bad. So, he's upset about that one. He's upset about that one. That's the game plan when you're playing Luane, to be honest with you. Make the other person mad. This is fairly early on when I started playing this man. But what I learned as time went by is Luane has an ability where he can heal. So you stand far back from the person and you just push that button. And you just pull out like a whole plate of spaghetti and you eat that and you heal. And boy, do people get mad when they see you start doing that. They are just gonna start sprinting across the whole fucking screen to get to you. Like, that motherfucker is just over there eating spaghetti while we're playing the fucking video game. And dude, they get so mad and they immediately do something stupid because they're mad. It's amazing. And then you pull Yggdrasil out, right? If they actually catch you, they get you while you're eating your spaghetti, you just throw Yggdrasil at them again. It is so good. Yggdrasil fixes all problems. I'm about to win, but he keeps blocking? I just use Yggdrasil. Oh fuck, I'm low because I didn't block? I'll just use Yggdrasil. It's amazing. Absolutely incredible. This is who I was meant to be the entire time, it turns out. But I am going to play the big, buff, muscle monk man when he comes out, because he's pretty cool. Anyway, we're talking about Overwatch right now. So, you know, that's the important thing with Reinhardt when you're engaging. Like, avoid line of sight as much as possible, maintain shield health, and that makes it a lot easier to actually engage. And I mean, the other thing then, and then the only other thing to consider is, like, how to use Earth Shatter. Because, hey, nothing's gonna engage you quite as good as Earth Shatter is it? And I mean, at that point, you get into the whole thing with the Reinhardt versus Reinhardt matchup, where you're like, alright, so you're trying to bait their Earth Shatter out, so then you don't have to worry about that while you're making your Earth Shatter. And you're looking for a few, like, telltale things that are gonna get you the Earth Shatter through easy. One thing that's pretty easy to do is just, like, watch the guy and see how much he uses Fire Strike. If it seems like he uses Fire Strike pretty much as soon as it comes off cooldown, that's free real estate right there, brother. What you do is you think to yourself, alright, he just used Fire Strike, and then you count in your head 6 seconds, and then at the end of that 6 seconds, he is going to Fire Strike pretty soon, but you're ready for it now. You're ready for this Fire Strike. You've been mentally preparing for it, so as soon as you see the Fire Strike start, you Earth Shatter him. You have to have complete faith in yourself when you're doing this. If you have any doubt in your heart that this Earth Shatter is gonna hit, it's not gonna work, brother. This is something that you need to believe. Because if you don't believe in yourself and you wait to really confirm that he's using Fire Strike, it doesn't work. He gets the shield back up in time. You need to see him take that shield down to Fire Strike, and you're like, that's it, he's Fire Striking, and you slap him. You gotta believe in yourself for that one to work. But that's a very easy one. And then the other times are like, if you can bait his Earth Shatter out of him, that makes it easy, because most Reinhardt players, they don't really wait to confirm the Earth Shatter actually did anything. They just use the Earth Shatter and then go. So usually if you block their Earth Shatter, you can just go immediately with your Earth Shatter. I'm looking for a different player, you know, let's try and, like, mix up the people we're playing with a little bit here, rather than, like, the 19,000 games I played against Beelzebub. And Fastiva, I've seen Fastiva, like, I just keep seeing Fastiva suddenly, after not seeing her for, like, 1,000 years. That's the wrestler, by the way. Beelzebub's the edgy one. You probably guessed that one, especially if you were reading the names. I apologize, but you know, I don't like to read names. I don't like to read in general. I'm a very simple man. That's why I'm playing this boy. Anyway, so usually after you block their Earth Shatter, you usually get an opportunity to Earth Shatter pretty soon right after, because they either start charging, or they Fire Strike, or they just run up and start swinging, you know. They usually give you a pretty big opening after that one. And then, you know, if you're doing shield management better than them, you can just, like, be real patient about it and just wait, like, his shield's getting low health at this point. So as soon as I see him take that, like, he's gonna want to take that down soon. And as soon as he takes that down, like, he's probably not going to put it back up again because it's got like 200 health right now. And then, hey, easier to get the Earth Shatter in. Or, hey, maybe it's the dream. Maybe it's the ideal situation and you can just wait for his shield to break. Once his shield breaks, brother, it's completely free. One missile from that little tank got him. He's upset about that. As soon as that shield breaks, it's free. There's no consideration needed anymore other than just how many people are in line of sight, right? Like, easy peasy. So that's like what you think about when you try to engage as Reinhardt. But shield management is the really big one, because if you are consistently getting to the fight and your shield has like 200 health, it's not going to work. You're going to have to play so passively during the fight that the engage is going to end up being really weak and disappointing, and nobody's going to be happy about it. Everybody's going to be disappointed. Grandma's going to be disappointed in you. She's not going to give you the nano boost. It's going to be sad. Don't do that. Look after your shield, and then Grandma won't be disappointed in you. So, next up, and this is the last question for this week, is how do I start shot calling? This person was talking more about, like, in the fight itself, because that's when they start having trouble thinking clearly about things, essentially. But I mean, like, broadly speaking, if you want to start shot calling, the goal is, like, just try and, like, don't try and do anything fancy, right? Like, unless you're playing in a coordinated setting, or you're playing with the same group of people regularly, don't try and get fancy with it. Don't try and do, like, any super complicated plays. Just communicate real simple, straightforward stuff. Which is, like, try and coordinate some ultimates. Like, hey, alright, we've got, you know, you look, you push tab, you see that you've got, like, Graviton and Earth Shatter at the same time, and you're like, alright, let's try and make a play with Graviton. You know, make Reinhardt be a little bit more reserved. You know, try and that kind of stuff. That's simple. Do stuff like call out when people are like need help during a fight. Like if you see Anna getting got, like by the Winston or the Genji, communicate Anna's getting got, she needs help, right? Like that kind of thing. Call out when people are flanking, call out who you think has their ultimates, you know, assuming you're tracking that, because that's good information to have, you know, knowing that Genji has got, like, watch out, Genji's got his Dragon Blade. If that makes your teammates play differently, knowing that kind of information, right? If you got a defensive ultimate, the guy is more likely to hold it to counter that, you know, people might hold their abilities, you know, that kind of stuff. And then, like, during the team fight, again, just keep it simple, right? Like, you're not trying to coordinate anything huge. Just say, like, during the team fight, X is out of position. Let's get him, you know, that kind of thing. Ideally in less words than that, to be honest with you. Like, Anna's low, you know, that's Anna's out of position, right? Like, that's usually good enough. You want to keep the communication as short and to the point as possible. If you find yourself regularly using like 15 words to describe the situation, that's probably a little too much. You can probably cut that down to like 4, to be honest with you, right? Keep it short, keep it simple. Don't try and communicate anything complicated unless you're in like a coordinated setting or you know a bunch of the people. Keep it simple. X needs help, X is out of position, let's engage with Y. You know, watch out, X has his ultimate, you know. All that kind of stuff. That's good enough for like competitive, basically. Like, you're not gonna get teams regularly where you can get like any greater degree going on like that. And to be honest with you, most people are still not gonna listen to you anyway. But that's it. Just keep it simple, keep it short, don't do anything weird or complicated. Real straightforward. Real straightforward. Because shot calling is one of these things that, like, people outthink themselves on more than anything else, where they think they need to be like Sun Tzu, and they need to communicate some sort of magnificent feint flanking maneuver that's gonna completely wreck the enemy team. Not necessary, you know. The game's not that complicated, to be honest with you, to begin with. But, like, you're putting a lot of faith in the people that you're playing with if you're trying to orchestrate something big. I remember, this is not something people usually ask me about, because I'm a well-documented misanthrope who hates people. But I remember a long time ago that there was this replay we were watching, and the person, they basically communicated every little thought that crossed their mind. They were constantly saying how much ult charge people had, how much ult charge they had. They were like doing countdowns for when they were gonna use their ultimate. Like, they're just like basically having full-on conversations with themselves about these things. Like, you're just bogging the whole thing down at this point. You're bogging the whole communication sphere down because everybody's just listening to you communicate every little inane thought that crosses your mind. Like, and the goal, and just like cut that out. Just stop that. Keep it as straightforward and simple as you can. And the person argued with me, isn't it better to communicate more than less? No. It absolutely is not better to communicate more than less because you're not the only person playing that fucking video game. You're not talking to 5 bots, right? Like, they don't need to know all this information. They don't need you to count down from 5 or 10 every time you're going to use your ultimate. They don't need to know that, like, you're at 50% charge. They don't need to know that. It's not relevant. Cut it out. Like, they've got shit they want to say, probably, you know? It's like, you're just bogging these people down with shit. More communication is not better. Less communication is actually better. Keep it as short as possible. So basically done now. So now we have to wait for this game to finish. It's okay, it won't be that long. That's how the game is. Luane's very good, highly recommend, especially if, you know, if you're not very good, like me, brother, Yggdrasil will get you some mileage. Let me tell you that much. Just the lava is good enough 9 times out of 10, but like, you can do some more fancy stuff to fake them out with it, but like, more often than not, like, look. I fucked that one up, I did that one too soon, but hey, like, look, she didn't know what to do. She just raised her hand out, like, she did jab. She's like, get it away. That's actually not her jab. She's like, didn't know what to do. She's just like, get it the fuck away from me. We'll watch the other one, to be honest. I feel like we didn't talk about much. We'll watch the full set I played against this person. It's short, and like, look, the video game looks good, okay? Look, the video game, it looks good. Arc System Works, they make good-looking video games. They know what they're doing. I'm very much looking forward to Guilty Gear Strive. That game looks incredible. This game looks better than Dragon Ball FighterZ, and Guilty Gear Strive looks better than this. They get better, they just continue to improve. It's amazing. Alright, Namaya's mad. She's mad now. She's like, alright, Luane, I don't want any of this nonsense. I'm gonna get on that motherfucker. And then it didn't work. I used the fucking counter and got out. Now she's like, ah, shit. Now suddenly I'm in the corner. Oh no, and she's out again. Alright, so I'm not going back in. I'm not going back in the corner. But now, danger time. I had the level 2 super. It's time to use Yggdrasil again. Hooray! Alright, now we're gonna push some buttons at her. Alright, she dodged that one. Wait a little bit and throw it at her. Sick. Get the last orb in. Look at that. She had the huge life lead. No huge life lead anymore. Alright, got DP'd? I'll DP you right back, motherfucker. You wanna use your invincible wake up? I'll use my invincible wake up as well. And now she's mad. Now she's gonna be real. See, look how mad she is. She's like, alright, no more footsies. We're going in. Slapping buttons. I'm not gonna let this motherfucker put me in the corner. Oh, that's not safe on block, though, brother. You're gonna get fucking hit. Alright, we're gonna send in the boys. She didn't know what to do when the boys were on the way. And that's the trick with Luane. You send in the boys, so you don't have to deal with it. Alright, use the counter immediately after. Like, alright, she's gonna push a button. It didn't happen. She's gonna counter TP it, like, full screen. Alright, whatever you say. Alright, trade some specials back at each other. Give them a little jab, jab, jab. No, no, no. No more buttons. I don't like that. Alright, she's gonna anti-air me. Didn't like it very much. But, oh shit, brother. Oh, fuck, it's time to use Yggdrasil again. Oh, look at that. Oh, alright, she dodged that. She's jabbing me. She's trying to kill me while I've got Yggdrasil on the field. Joke's on you. You can't kill Luane when Yggdrasil's on the field. Alright, now, play it calm, play it calm. I don't know I can heal at this point, so I'm just like, alright, we're just gonna pray. Alright, I got chipped. Very upsetting, but that's okay. So, we adapt. We're ready. We know the person's gonna be mad. We don't do anything weird at the start, but then we just push a button when we're not allowed to yet and get slapped anyway. Alright, got him. Out of the corner. No more of that. Send in the boys. She tried to use her counter. It didn't work. She did not work out. The boy just clapped her in the feet. Alright, now, overhead. No, alright, missed the counter. Didn't get punished for it, really. All good, all good, all good. Alright, overhead, she didn't like that. Alright, she pushed a button, she's mad. She's pushing buttons, get him in the corner. Send in the robot. Alright, she didn't do anything, there's the counter. Easy peasy. Don't have any of my abilities yet, can't really get a combo off. Very sad. It's okay, we just play it cool. We play it cool. No need to do anything weird. We've got the life lead. That's safe, it's okay. Try to get the counter on the counter attack. She didn't do anything. Alright, let's just use Yggdrasil, brother. Let's just use the Yggdrasil and see if we can stop this whole having to play the video game thing. Alright, she's starting to dodge the fire. I'm just gonna do this because it does a lot of chip damage. I'm just gonna start spamming that one because it does a fuck ton of chip damage. If you're just gonna sit there and block and dodge, whatever. You better dodge this fucking lightning or I'm gonna chip you to death. And then what's going to happen when Yggdrasil goes away? I'm going to send in the boys, and they're going to chip you as well. I'm going to stand full screen, eating my fucking spaghetti, sending the boys in to do the work for me. And you're not going to like it very much. And that's why Luane's the best character in the game. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. More than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I start streaming on Twitch Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, that's correct. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. EST to 11 EST. There's a link to the channel in the description. If you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future, and I hope you found the video helpful.